Hello, welcome back. This is Raffles van Exel. Today I have the honor in sitting here with Travis Payne, the man that basically doesn't even need an introduction anymore. Travis has been around the world with artists such as Jennifer Lopez, Ricky Martin, Mariah Carey, Lady Gaga, the latest, and of course, not to forget, the late king of pop.
Absolutely.
Travis, let's go straight in it.
Let's do this.
Michael Jackson.
Yes.
How and when was it the first time that you worked with Michael?
Well, actually, like all of us, we've been a big fan of Michael since I was 5 years old, and always knew from a very early age that I wanted to work with him. He's actually the reason I started dancing. And I moved to Los Angeles in 1990. First got the opportunity to work with Janet on Living Nation as a dancer, and then shortly after that, auditioned for the Remember the Time short film and became one of the dancers there. And so that's how I met Michael.
So, what was your first reaction that you learned that you were one of Michael's dancers?
Honestly, there was not really words to describe it, but I knew it felt comfortable. I mean, I wasn't nervous, I wasn't scared. I felt like I had actually, met a goal that would make me feel comfortable, and that I knew for all these years had been sort of struggling to get to. And when it finally happened, I sort of, breathed a sigh of relief, because I knew that, everything that I would contribute creatively would be so appreciated and so, just so accepted, and it was really a blessing to be able to collaborate with him for so many years.
Well, to the fans, I had made one call to Travis, and graciously he called me back and he said, wow, an interview for the fan clubs. I'm there.
Absolutely.
We have some questions that have been presented by the fans to you. So I would almost say, let's go straight to it.
Whatever you want.
Many say that Michael was preparing, question number one, many would say that Michael was preparing a new moonwalk dance. Is that true?
Well, I think that anytime we approached a project, it was always about doing something new. So within the body of the work, yeah, there was a lot of new steps. I mean, did he set out to say, I want to do a new moonwalk? Not exactly, but there were definitely many conversations, as there always were, where Michael challenged me to, come up with new shapes, based on his vocabulary, of moves that he has, but how do we take everything further? And so really, a lot of times when we would just be in the room, it would be him who would initiate a new interpretation of, like, the slide glide or the moonwalk, or just a different rhythm to do it in. And so, yeah, I think that in the film you see there's definitely a few new shapes and definitely a few new tones. And you'll also see in the DVD, which is released late January, I think more than 3 more hours of information in which you see us really sort of in the studio working a lot together.
So there is a rumor out there that Michael was creating a new dance called the Penguin.
I think maybe the fans or some journalist or, but a lot of times, Raffles, we would just move and the expression would come out and the shape would manifest itself. Oftentimes we didn't name things, that's how we would communicate, by doing the step itself. So I think you're talking about this thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think that was just him feeling it, and I asked him what he meant by that, and he said, that's like spanking all the bad people. It's like he would always say throughout this process of This Is It, I'm not playing with these people. And I took that to mean that, he was very serious about the messages and the ideas contained in the show and the things that he wanted to be able to say to his fans in the world. And so I'm not playing with these people, I think, was sort of the list. And to me, that's one of those things that's on there. It was, in Michael's way, his very humble way to be aggressive, and you know what I mean? So I think that shape and that move sort of was born out of that idea.
Okay,
so people call it the affectionately. Yeah.
What was your favorite Michael Jackson song? Even before you answer that, what was your favorite Michael Jackson song that you guys had to work on for This Is It? What gave you the most pleasure and the dancers?
I'd say there's a toss-up. Drill, because that's a brand new piece. It had never been, seen before. It was created specifically for This Is It, and the music that went with it. And that meant a lot to us all because it was new, and because we got to create it from day one. That was the first thing we sort of worked on. And then also Dangerous, because that was the first thing I was able to choreograph with Michael ever. And since 1993, when we started it, it's had this life, and it's continued to evolve. It's continued to sort of mold itself. And there was a This Is It version of Dangerous that was created. We didn't choose to include in the movie because we didn't think that Michael would have felt like it was strong enough. The last time we rehearsed together at the Staples Center, we had just completed the This Is It version of Dangerous the night before. So that last rehearsal at the Staples Center would have been the first time that we put it on stage, so because it only really got to be rehearsed a little bit, we didn't feel like he would think it was strong enough to be included in the movie. But hopefully someday, I thought it was beautiful just seeing him, after all these years with Dangerous, as a piece that had been very near and dear to my heart, for it to have taken on this other shape, I thought was very beautiful, and hopefully people will get to see that someday.
Was there anywhere in the rehearsals that Michael would do something, would do a move, that even your jaw would drop like, oh my God?
Always. Always. Every time I was in the mirror with Michael Jackson, whether it be in his Carrollwood estate or at one of the dance studios we were at, or even during Scream, we worked at Lisa Marie Presley's house, or even at Neverland. Anytime we got into the mirror, it was always such an experience, and I would always just, quite like, because I still call myself one of his biggest fans, because before I was working with him, I was a fan,
Who wasn't?
Continue to be.
Who wasn't?
Yeah, right. So every time we would go to work together, there was always, I felt like I was getting just sort of a more than front row seat, being this close to him, watching him create. And I would always say, ooh, that's awesome. Ooh, you're not playing with these people. Ooh, that's smelly, because it was, and for me, being a dancer since I was 9 and having Michael be a major driving force in where I am today in my career, in my business and in the arts, it was always just wonderful and magnificent to share space and time with him when we were moving.
Where were you the day Michael passed away?
I was actually